this one.
Dude, it's on?
No, well, that part's on. Hi. But it's just sitting there and rotating while. You've never been in front of a camera before, so.
Yeah.
What do I say? What is it? What do I do with my hands? She made me coffee. Or what is this?
Nespresso. It's coffee.
It is coffee.
It's a pot of Nespresso.
It's tasty.
Good. I have to put almond milk in mine. Real sugar.
Well, I can drink as much coffee as I want if I don't put anything in it because it's no calories. It's just like drinking water.
But then it's a heart attack.
So people claim. I haven't found that to be true yet. As I think if you cut me open, it won't be blood. It will be coffee.
Fair enough. Yep.
I have tried to balance out my coffee drinking.
There's friends. Hello, friends.
With when I drink a cup of coffee, I have a glass of water. Like I can't have my next cup of coffee until I've had my glass of water.
That's good. That's smart. So you don't get the headaches.
I get the like
jitters. I'll be shaking during filming of Game of the Game a lot of times. Because lunch is right after, and I've had like 3 cups of coffee already.
And no food.
Yeah, you know.
Hey guys, we're about to start recording a podcast, and I'm just going to live stream this into the group so you guys could watch. We are totally not going to be paying attention to anything that you ask. I may come back in after the fact and go back through and answer any questions that you have, but just kind of want to give you guys access to chatting with Becca.
I'm Becca.
That's Becca Scott, y'all.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
How do I do this? Okay, so
I don't know.
I'm going to hit the record button on this podcast thing, and we're going to start doing that.
You're not going to check the sound on this puppy?
It's right here. It's working. Woo.
Yeah, but that's not the same. Okay, I'll trust you. Terry! Sorry, we're ignoring everyone. Oh,
you can talk to them if you want. Well, not for the podcast.
It's very distracting. Yeah, it's not going to make for good podcasting.
No, it would not make for good podcast. It'd be like, what? What is happening right now?
Yeah, but now I'm so distracted. It's so hard to look away.
All right, so I'm going to start the podcast now. Hey, y'all. James Hudson here, and I am with the Becca Scott.
I'm James Hudson. No, I'm Becca Scott.
Yeah, you are.
Hey.
Hey, y'all. You can try. Let's hear
Hey, y'all.
You
know, it comes really easy to me because I grew up in Missouri.
Well, there you go. Midlander, Midwesterner.
Yeah, but right now I'm doing the accent for my cousin from Mississippi.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know. I saw we did something at one point. I think it was maybe some previous filming, and you were using the little accent tapes, and so you were practicing. What was it?
I'm really bad at accents. Anything except American South.
No, gosh, it was a British accent, wasn't it? Or the tape that you were practicing.
All right.
Oh, it was when we did Lords and Ladies, and then we were all like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
If you want to sound classy, you just have to be a Brit.
I just watch Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Ron Weasley. That's the song, and then Snape.
Dumbledore.
Severus Snape.
Dumbledore.
And everyone has turned off the podcast at this point.
No, they love it.
Okay, well, cool. So I have a boom. Wow. She almost ate the microphone.
It's called ASMR. I
actually just learned about that in somebody else's podcast, and they were talking about how, like, go to YouTube and watch some of the videos.
Autosomatic sensory.
Yeah.
Wait, meridian response.
We're
it's
smart.
A real thing.
It sounds like a smart
Vice
person
covered
thing.
it, and now there are all these people being taken off YouTube because a bunch of trolls reported these nice women making ASMR videos that help a lot of people deal with anxiety, and the trolls of 4chan descended upon these women and got their channels taken down. So starting us off on a happy note.
Well, the trolls are powerful. We're going to get to the trolls later in this conversation. So my first question, and I want to just dive in a little bit to, like, people know you from your How to Play on Geek and Sundry and Game the Game, and you're doing some stuff with, also, I saw you in Texas.
That was for Games Workshop. I'm doing stuff with the people who make Warhammer and Warhammer 40K and Age of Sigmar, and in fact, I'm going there next week. So yeah, to the UK. They opened a location in Dallas. But I've been going to the UK a lot with them, so that's really cool.
Yeah, because they're a UK company based, right?
They are.
I'm learning about
so
Warhammer.
English.
I've never played Warhammer. I just know it from like when I see it in the, on the wall, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of paint.
Those
and
beautiful
minis.
painted miniatures. Yeah, I've got. I'm being initiated in, and I've played, and I love the gameplay. I don't yet have my own painted set because that is time that I wish I had, and someday I will paint my set. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
Hasn't happened yet.
You have to. Is it a rule that you have to paint it before you can play with it?
If you want to compete in tournaments, you have to paint them, and a shitty paint job means you will do worse in that tournament. Can I say bad words?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we have a bleeper too. If you go on a rant, we can just we'll just beep 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 beep. It'll sound like Morse code.
Get your beeper ready.
All right.
But yeah, there's what is great that I've learned. I haven't competed in a Warhammer tournament, but there's 3 things that people are not graded on, given points for. Of course, playing, winning gets you points. Then there's your paint job, and you get points for the paint that you do, or you can win
in the game that you're
category.
Playing.
And then there's also sportsmanship points, which is beautiful. And I love that because it is a community, and it's about treating each other well, making friends, playing games, but it's all about having fun. So when it becomes a toxic competition environment, that's not fun for anybody. So that's why I really like that they have those sportsmanship points.
And I would say that's at least been because we're going to get into talking about Magic a little bit, was one of the many things that I noticed. Where I came from, the local store, it had some toxic Magic players. I'm not saying all Magic players are toxic.
Toxic Magic skillinity.
I'm just saying that it does happen. So it's cool that they have a system in place that was from the laptop. We're not professional here at all. And it's cool to see that they've got something built into the system. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't play League of Legends anymore. Like, that is like one of the grossest, most toxic places to try to play a game ever.
Troll's gonna troll.
Troll's gonna troll. And obviously on the video game, you get your username, right? It's kind of similar to Reddit. Like, it's not James Hudson, it's Pump Dude 2817, right? So I can say whatever I want.
That's the name you would choose? Pump
No,
Dude?
I don't know. It was like on the spot.
I like that you came up with Pump Dude.
I was like, how do I not offend everyone listening by saying something ridiculous?
They can interpret that however they want. You can like
Exactly.
to pump iron. You could like to pump gas. You could, well, we won't go other places. There's a lot of ways that name can be interpreted.
Well, thank you for that. So, cool. So you've got a lot of stuff going on.
I do have a lot of stuff going on, and then I'm also, doing the acting thing on the side.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into that, but yeah, that's also.
When I grow up, I'm gonna be
passion.
Becca Scott.
Oh my God! Thank you.
What was ding the number one? I knew that was. Did
Just
you hear
press
that?
mute.
I don't. Does it even have a mute button?
Oh, you've got that fancy laptop. Okay.
What was the first board game that hooked you? Like, what, for me, it was Power Grid. I played a lot of Warcraft. I am a Blizzard nerd. I played all of the RTSs, StarCraft, and then Warcraft, WoW. And then one day, my friend was like, hey, you should come play board games with us. I've got this game called Power Grid. I think you'd like it. And I played it, and I went into the rabbit hole.
First of all, let's say tabletop because board sounds boring. Nobody likes that. Second of all, I was raised on the classics. My family was a board game family. So, of course, there was a lot of Monopoly, a lot of Risk, and it instilled in me a fierce competitiveness. But the thing that I realized I was very addicted to gaming with, aside from my N64 and my PlayStation 2, was Scrabble.
Okay.
I love Scrabble. And it's not about being a good speller. That helps. But it's about those 2-letter word combos, man. It's all about hitting that triple word score before somebody else does. And I played that probably 3 times a week for several years in college. I have logged probably more hours of Scrabble than any other game. And I think it just made me realize how strong the strategy can be and how much of your brain can just light up and be activated when you're playing a tabletop game. in a way, I love video gaming as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was just playing Zelda Breath of the Wild, waiting for you to come over and record this podcast.
Yeah.
But it uses less parts of your brain. And I love a game with logic puzzles within it.
Yep. Agreed. I was actually watching something this week that someone was talking about they love diving into a good video game, but it was that board games give you that different interaction for your brain. And he was actually saying, I think it was Nick from the Brothers Murph. They're out here in LA. They're on the Dice Tower Network. And he's got an 83-year-old fella in his game group.
Damn.
And he talks about that guy says, board games keep my mind sharp.
Yeah. It's
Come
like
on.
the whatever website, Luminosity, where my mom takes little quizzes.
Yeah.
And it's that using parts of your brain that a lot of us don't use in the day-to-day.
Right.
That's why video games, not always, but depending on the game, you can kind of turn off your brain and check out and just go into that mode. Whereas with tabletop games, you got to be on,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. Especially if you want to win, and I know that's very important to Becca Scott.
No big deal. Winning song. It's fine if I lose. Okay.
She was going to cut me the day that I was like, I play for the grins, not for the wins. And she was like, what? Like, this is a foreign concept to me. I don't understand.
That is something I'm always trying to get better at. And on Game the Game, my show on Geek and Sundry's YouTube channel, you'll see like the thought process behind my eyes when I'm not winning in a game. And I have to do some serious mental gymnastics to be like, Becca, you're just supposed to host the show and make sure other people have a good time. You don't have to win. It's
Make it fun for everybody.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah. Well, cool. So I don't play Scrabble because I'm from Alabama and we're 49th in education. And it's funny, we were just chatting about Ole Miss, but it's like our state motto is thank God for Mississippi because they're 50th.
Oh.
So we're not last.
I was going to say, really? 49th?
Yeah, we're terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a product of my environment. I don't pronounce anything right. And I can't spell the words. Can't do the things.
You said all of those words right, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So you're heading to if you're heading to a family or friend gathering and you've got time to grab 2 games, what 2 games and let's assume that these people are non-board gamers. What 2 games are you going to grab? Or a game, it doesn't matter.
Okay, for non-board gamers, always the go-to is Codenames.
Okay.
Always goes in the bag because an infinite number of people can play this game. So that's a no-brainer. Other things I like to do with people, like family vacations, aunts and uncles that are not gamers.
Right.
I have found that Set is excellent.
Okay.
Set is a card game where you recognize patterns. It is a game acknowledged by Mensa. And that's a simple one. People can just walk up and say, oh, these 3 things have a pattern. Great, you get a point. You can walk away and do something else now, but you got that point. And then, let's see. I love Sushi Go. That's one that So I have a sister-in-law. I love her very dearly. She told me on our vacation a couple months ago, Becca, I don't think I ever would have known that I'm a gamer in my heart if not for you. And that was
and
the
you were just
best.
like, you earned the jewel for your crown.
Yeah, my eyes turned into hearts and little like bubbles floated out of my ears.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, I turned into an anime character for a second. And let's see. Oh, so this is so hard. I could just start naming games
Go
forever,
for it.
And it always
I mean, I'll eventually cut
changes.
you off, but you just keep going. It's fine.
So 2 games. I love a great social deduction game because most people who haven't played games have at least played some form of mafia or werewolf, even without a board of cards before. So that concept is not unfamiliar. There's one bad guy and we got to figure out who it is.
Right.
And so Resistance is great.
Yeah. Secret
Hitler, pretty good, although, do we really want to talk about fascism right now?
There's other fluffier things we could.
Well, and not even on this podcast. I mean, in general, but they do have something funny in there. Airplane mode. We're live streaming here from your phone. You're out of control.
I didn't say this was going to be a professional podcast.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I did say we've only done 2.
Good, because I didn't do my hair.
Well, me either.
He looks good though.
Just put a hat on.
That's not fair. Your hat says redneck.
It does.
that can get people shot in certain television shows. I'll say no more.
This is actually a comic that we have at Skybound. It's about vampires in Texas.
That's
Get it?
brilliant.
Redneck. And if you look at the sides, they got fangs. So.
As you said it, I noticed the fangs.
There you go.
Oh.
So read Redneck. It's really good.
Okay, I'm not done talking about.
Okay, keep going.
Quick,
keep going.
simple games that are easy to get people into. I found one that I've been loving that I came across at Gen Con. It's called Barbarian Battlegrounds, but in the middle of barbarian is the word bear, and bear is spelled out like the animal, and you play as cute fluffy little bears, but it's dice allocation, meaning you roll dice, and you, depending on what you roll, you can fit them on different places on your little board to either attack your friends or defend yourself if your friends are attacking you, or to earn resources, and you allocate them in a way that's hidden, and then everyone reveals at the same time, and it goes very quickly because I think people who aren't used to gaming don't understand. Sometimes you gotta wait for your turn and get bored.
Yeah.
So that's a nice one because everyone plays at the same time. And my 7-year-old niece who's just learning how to read, she actually turned 7 on this trip, we could teach her that. And she's a little precocious, but not great at reading yet, and there's minimal card text. There's a little bit, but we could help her. And so that's one I'm advocating for strongly. Okay, I'm done for now.
I noticed that your first game that you brought up was Codenames.
That's just the
Have
staple.
you tried Decrypto? Decrypto from Yellow Games.
Decrypto.
For me, this might offend, was a Codenames killer.
Oh.
And here's why.
Ouch.
Here's why. You get more, it's the same type of game, but there's more engagement as players. So sometimes when Codenames, you just kind of sit there and you're like, I think it's this, I think it's this, bloop, 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 right? Decrypto has, I feel like, the same vein of game, but you have more opportunity for clever plays. So the words are displayed to your team. So there's 2 teams, everybody can see their 4 words. Then a card comes out, and the person who's giving clues, they give clues that everyone at the table can hear, your team and the other team. Your team can see the words. So you're trying to give a 1-word clue to which word, and they've got to get it in the right sequence, decrypting the code. So Decrypto.
Ooh.
So like,
Battleships.
I've told the story already, but it's funny. I am from Alabama and poorly educated. And so one of our words was cake. And I said, I'm going to give, I got it toward the end. So,
K-A-K.
And what happens too is if people, the other team can figure out your sequence, they can steal your point. And so like, as you build up, you get to write down all these clues that people are referring to. And you're like, at the end, if you can even guess their word, you get more points. So it's like this whole, you're trying to be clever, but not too clever. You don't want to be obvious because they'll just get it, right?
An infinite number of players?
I think it's, I think you would probably want to stop it around 10 or 12. Okay. Just because everybody was going to want to turn to be one of the clue givers, and if you have too many people, it's just tough, and there's lots of discussion going on. But so the word was the pronoun, the name, Mary. And people were like, well, the other 2, they nailed it, and then they were like, well, it's one or the other, and they're like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, this is such a good clue.
The pronoun, name Mary?
Yeah. Not Mary, like getting married, but like Mary. I was thinking of let them eat cake.
Mrs. Wait, Queen is not a pronoun.
Well, her name is not Mary either. It's Maria Antoinette, not Mary Antoinette. That is how you lose the game.
Do you know what a pronoun is?
Oh, no. No. Yes. Yes and no.
Great.
Yeah, so again, that's just more proof that I don't need to be giving clues on these type of word games. I told you 49th in education.
Okay.
Let's move on to the next question.
Depending on who your teammates are, getting it wrong together could be the perfect strategy. Then you're throwing them off.
Oh, the other team had no clue what the hell.
They were from Mississippi.
No, I said it was a pronoun and it was named Mary and it was all wrong. So I hit it wrong from all angles. And luckily, though, they only had 2 options to choose from and it was 50-50. So that was nice.
Okay, I'll give Decrypto a try.
It's worth a try for sure.
I'm very surprised. I haven't been told before because a lot of people chatting in our live stream here agree with you. Decrypto is the codename killer.
I see you. So I was hanging out. We were filming some stuff for Title Blades.
Yeah.
There's going to be Title Blade stuff. So just that's a spoiler alert, I guess.
Super spoilers.
And I heard you and Brittany and Ivan go into this Magic the Gathering Nerd Fest for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So did you say that you're newly into Magic?
So
or
I've been playing kind of since the beginning of the year is when I finally broke down and I said I can't be afraid of this game that's existed for so long. And, you know, games with that kind of history, they're a little bit intimidating because you think, well, I have to, it's like starting to read Marvel comics. Do you start in the 60s? Do you start
yes,
now?
no.
You know? Or like starting to watch Doctor Who. You start with season 5, obviously. But
I didn't know that. I started with season 1.
Matt Smith, that's my boy.
I was like, the garbage can thing was just like freaking me out. I was like, what? This is like shot with like a high school AV club. Like, what the hell am I watching?
BBC, baby. They've upped it. But what were we talking about? Magic the Gathering. So my brain doesn't work sometimes. I'm so obsessed. So what happened was Wizards of the Coast, and who creates Magic the Gathering, they approached Geek and Sundry and they wanted us to make a show about teaching people who don't know how to play Magic. And I was like, I don't know if I'm the right host for this because I don't know how to play Magic. And they were like, don't worry, we'll send you cards, we'll teach you. I spent months not sleeping, just sorting through all the free cards they gave me, which was amazing because it can be an expensive hobby. And just poring over my decks night after night and teaching lots of other new players or people who've never played. Hey, you want to play Magic? And they're like, I don't know how to play that. Great, I'll teach you right now. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Here's a deck. Let's go. Because it really is, the gameplay itself is easy to grasp. It's just, it's a collectible card game. So, you know, you can be crushed by someone who's actually put some money into their cards. That's why it's not fun to do like a draft style game because then it's an even playing field. We're all pulling from the same pool, and yeah, I am so obsessed with Magic, and I don't know what I found my game, you know.
Yeah.
And I haven't played in a couple weeks, and it's hurting my soul. So.
Well, it's been around for almost 25 years.
25 years, yeah.
So I mean I don't know many games other than, say, the Monopolies or the Catans of the world. I mean, there's very few that have this sort of longevity.
With this sort of die-hard following.
Sure.
So that's proof right there.
I mean, there's stores that, you know, some gaming stores, they literally make their living on flipping Magic cards.
Well, Friday Night Magic, it still happens at most friendly local game stores. So.
Real time.
Yeah, there you go. It's no joke. So I have a deck. I know you're going to ask me this question.
Yeah,
Maybe I should just let you ask it.
What is your favorite deck right now?
Okay.
Okay.
So there's Commander format, which I don't have quite enough cards built up yet, because Commander format, you play with, each person has a 100 card deck or 99 unique cards with one commander.
Okay.
And all of those cards need to be in the same color scheme as the commander. And so that's really fun. I just have one straight out of the box commander deck. Lord Windgrace, what up? That's a black, red, green. And that's with the new M19 set. But what I built out of the cards I have for a standard style game, which is 60 cards, and you can have up to 4 of the same card repeated, is a vampire deck, and they combo so hard. It's like you'll play a card that says all of your vampires get a +1/+1 on their toughness and defense. They're attacking power and toughness. And that is a magical deck. It does a lot of crushing of a lot of decks. It's a black and white deck. So lots of vampires, lots of life-giving, lots of you know, a little bit that pulls from that graveyard. And it just,
This is
I
where
like the
smile
macabre.
I just smile and nod.
All right, I won't get into too many details.
It's great. I actually know I need to, probably the same where you were at the beginning of the year. Like, I need to, like, I've played it before, right? And I see the appeal. Yeah. I also have purposely stayed away because I got into Star Wars Destiny for about 5 minutes. And then, like, $500 later, I'm like, oh, I've only made 3 decks.
Yeah.
But ooh, these are fun.
Yeah.
And I could see myself.
Totally.
Yeah. And all of the people at the office play Commander. They like it is their thing. They go to when we go to shows. That's like, oh, we're away from home. We can just play Commander all night.
Yeah, I did at Gen Con play my first Commander game, and with 4 people, we played for like 5 hours, and it was amazing. It was so good.
It's funny to hear them yell at each other about infinite loops or infinite something. I don't know.
Infinite Jest.
Yeah, they're just like yelling at each other.
That's a book I never read.
Well, speaking of books, that was the next question. So, expanding outside of board games a little bit. So, like, what are some of like your favorite? And you know, I have this written down in like the typical podcast, the question format. But like, on a deserted island, what book, what TV show, what board game, what movie, whatever. Like, what are some of your? Let's just boil that down a little bit. What are like some of your most hardcore fandoms? Like when you get like, I'm gonna go get tattoos of stuff. Yeah. What is that? For me, it's like Disney and Harry Potter.
Okay,
like, that's me.
I do have a Harry Potter tattoo, but that's beside the point. And I you know, I really should think out my tattoos more so that I don't later see them on people's t-shirts and think, oh man, I'm a sellout. Because I do have the key phrase to open the Marauders map, which is...
God, you put me on the spot. It's,
I
solemnly swear I'm up to no good.
That's correct. That's tattooed on my body. But, so yeah, obviously I'm a Harry Potter fan.
Sure.
I'm glad that you're not limiting me to the one book, one board game, one movie that's written, because I can't do that.
Just, what do you nerd out
on? The Dresden Files. There is a show on Geek and Sundry hosted by Ryan Green called Lore Masters, in which I recently got to just talk about how much I love the Dresden Files for 2 hours. But this is a series. There are 15 books currently written by Jim Butcher, and there's going to be at least one more. Please, oh Jesus. I think he's already announced the title, and it should be coming out, you know, not too terrible, not like George R. R. Martin. Long wait. Game of Thrones is another one that I've read the actual pages and words. Dresden Files, I prefer the audiobook version.
Okay.
But it's about a modern day wizard in Chicago. He's a private investigator. And he wears a leather duster, and he's snarky and silly and funny, and he'll just say, you know, sarcastic things to demons that are staring him down, and then he often succeeds in fighting these terrifying things just by sheer luck, where he'll have friends that step in, or he just happens to do the right thing at the right time, or make a guess that was right. And I really like the use of magic in these books, because magic, when you cast a spell, it takes a little part of yourself, and you have a limited reserve of the energy inside you before you build it up. You know, you run out. Whereas with, say, Harry Potter, and I love J.K. Rowling, and when she got into it, she was writing children's books, and then they evolved into young adult novels because people loved it so much of all ages.
And people were getting murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not very...
Right, yeah. She's a dark person. I'll talk about another of my favorite series in a second, but she didn't at first dig too deep into the magic. You could just make something appear.
Sure.
And it's like, where does that come from? So with Dresden Files, Harry Blackstone Copperfield Dresden, he does fire magic, and that's his specialty. And so he'll pull either from the energy from himself or from the earth and tap into that. And he basically can he can do other things, but his main focus is fire magic. So he blows stuff up, and he can use wind, so earth magic. Really.
Okay. Yeah. There is a board game based on the Dresden Files, yes? No?
There's a card game.
Card game, okay.
And I haven't played it, and I'm a bad fan for that.
What?
I know.
I figured the next thing out of your mouth would be like, yeah, and it's this, and I play it all the time.
I'm like reaching for my phone to order it on Amazon right now. There's too many things, and you just forget. It's hard to hold them all in your brain. Yes, I need to play the Dresden Files card game.
We need to put that in the queue for how to play and game the game.
Yeah,
then
we do.
You can make that like part of the shut it puppy.
There's a puppy. Sorry about that, podcast listeners.
We all love our animals.
He's
it's fine.
Protecting us.
It's fine.
So I'm going to keep going about my favorite series.
Please do.
I'm listening to book 4 right now in the Cormoran Strahd series, and this is not fantasy, but it is written by J.K. Rowling, but under her pen name Robert Galbraith. Okay. Because, I don't know, she didn't want children to pick them up, or she wanted people to not think, oh, that's that Harry Potter writer. This is going to be like Harry Potter, because it's not. It's gritty, dark detective novels about a one-legged detective named Cormoran Strike. And, you know, he's not very likable or charming. He's gruff, but he's a damn good investigator. A bloody good one.
Is he also English?
He's super, super English.
Oh, man. What's the name of this one? I'm writing notes down over here.
Good. Well, the first book in the Cormoran Strike series is Cuckoo's Calling. The Cuckoo's Calling.
Cuckoo.
And it's about the murder of a supermodel.
Okay.
Yep.
Good enough. I've been doing my walking in the morning, and so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and audiobooks are perfect for that.
I say I read these books, I listen to these books.
Nothing.
But someone reads them to me.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Now, Game of Thrones is probably the only fantasy novel that I looked at the pages for. Yeah.
Okay.
And then one more shout out.
Do it.
Brandon Sanderson, classic fantasy author. And I love the Mistborn trilogy. I have to pronounce Mistborn, because when I started telling people about this series, they'd say, Miss Porn? What?
No. Now, I do know that there was a game that came out on Kickstarter 2-ish years ago.
It's on that shelf over there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a fun game because you can choose whether to be aligned with the great houses or with the characters, the main characters of the book, who are staging an uprising.
Okay.
In the first book of the Mistborn trilogy, and then there's an additional trilogy set like 300 years later. And once again, I like the style of magic in Mistborn because it's very technical the way he describes it. Now, my one problem with Brandon Sanderson, no offense, it's sexless because he's religious. Beautiful, beautiful writing, so good. And what I love about Jim Butcher is he keeps that dirty stuff in there, you know? Harry Dresden, he may be a little sex-starved, but he'll talk about it. And when he gets some, you know it. So anyway, Brandon Sanderson doesn't have any of that juiciness, but the technicality of the way he describes magic, because in Mistborn, a Mistborn is a person that has all of the magical skills, but most people in this world, even if they have magical ability, only have one power, and they use that power by swallowing a vial of a specific metal, or you mix it in with like a water type mixture, and there's a limited resource. So you burn the metal that you've swallowed from within you to use up your power, so that, you know, once you use it, you need to find more of that metal to ingest, or you got snow magics. Yeah, so I like that technicality of where it comes from. Because, you know, I just want to know how I can become magical. And all I need to do is swallow the right vials of metal, so I've been trying everything. I have it's been a couple trips to the hospital, but working on it.
Book-wise, I think in that same vein, have you read A Darker Shade of Magic?
Writing this down.
V.E. Schwab, I believe, is her name. This is it's only got 3 books right now, but it is so good. It's a world where you have it's a different kind of race of people-ish, but you've got some who are magical, and there's dimensions of London. So it's in London. So there's the regular London, then there's the magical London, and then there's like this white London that got obliterated that nobody talks about, you can't get to, it's all bad. Ooh. Well, guess what happens in the book, boys and girls?
They go to White London.
White London gets brought in somehow. So it's really good. And the protagonist, she is such a lovable character. She is just a little shit, you know, who's just very, I would almost call her like a little roguey, you know, troublemaker. And it's not heavy on the love story, but really heavy on the drama amongst the different races of people in the different Londons and how they're kind of like interacting. So anyway.
I'm on it. And a good reader for the audiobook, because that's key.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she's British, so they just go get more Brits to do it, and you're just like, I love listening to the Brits.
The Brits, they just know it. They're just so good.
But they say the same thing about us, which is funny. So
they're wrong about that.
They are. Okay, so we've talked about fluffy stuff. Let's talk about something that's not as fluffy.
Ooh.
So, inclusion, diversity. This is like a very big topic in our little niche of the world right now. I mean, I think it's everywhere. I mean, we see it obviously in politics, we see it in our daily lives, but it's something over the last, I would say, 6 to 8 months in board gaming specifically that has really like charged to the front and been more of a headlining topic. So what are some ways, because let's be honest, our audience, our hobby is male dominated. It's 90%, and that's probably being
noticed. I'll say 75 to 80.
Okay, even
I'm making up numbers.
You are.
But
you are.
I find a lot of women that like to game, and we are in a little niche of bubble of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that's one thing where people, and we run in very nerdy circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Alabama, it's mostly dudes. Mostly bro flakes.
Okay, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Anyways, there's a lot of dudes that play board games.
It's true. And I don't think that has anything to do with women not liking them as much.
No.
It has to do with, you know, what has invaded many industries, which is just women not feeling invited or included.
Okay, yeah.
And so that is a huge part of why I love the position I'm in, because not only can I feature female gamers coming on to play games with me, but I think it's helpful for women to find a game they like and look up how to play it and see a woman teaching it. Because I think just women are intimidated by just the maleness. If you see, you know, any video footage of a tournament setting, it's usually all men with the brave female competitors dealing with all of that. But yeah, I think, you know, we just have to be inviting and inclusive. That's the way we make it more inviting and inclusive. You know, you just do it.
Well, and I think it's safe to say that men typically are more aggressive, and with their behaviors.
Personally, I disagree when looking at my own behavior.
Right, and with that as if that is the spectrum, I agree.
That's my litmus.
But if that's your litmus, I only say that because I know I've seen and read and talked to many females who are like, I want to go and play games, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel invited. I don't feel included, because I have a perfect real world example. I don't have to make this up. I was at Gen Con. I was walking around in my one little hour that I took to go like peruse the floor, and I was doing a demo of Everdale, and so we're standing there, and there's one lady.
Wait, you were doing a demo in your 1 hour of freedom?
Hey, yeah, I wanted to play some games.
You were playing the demo.
I was playing the demo.
I thought you were leading the demo.
No, I was like getting a demo, and this lady came up, and she was, and we're going through it, and there was 3 of us, and then so we were doing a few sample rounds, and one of the other demoers, male, was like giving her advice, like, oh, you should do this or you should do that, and he didn't offer me any advice.
If only the podcast listeners could see my face right now. It's that emoji with just the flat mouth and flat eyes.
Yeah. Durr.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
That's the definition of mansplaining that you just observed.
Well, I mean, obviously, he assumed that she wasn't a regular gamer or that she needed his help, right?
Yeah. I experienced that walking in my 1 free hour at Gen Con. First, I learned about Barbarian Battlegrounds, where a woman demoed it, and then it was magical. It made me feel so special because someone came up to me and they were like, "You're Becca, can I take a picture with you?" And then the woman who was demoing goes, "Actually, I was going to ask after we demo this, but I was trying to be professional."
Nice.
Made me feel so special. And then I bought the game, obviously.
Yeah.
Continued walking, and then went up to some demo tables and got that scenario happen to me. And it just made me laugh to myself and just kind of smirk and give them this look like, you got no fucking idea, dude. Because I know my games.
Well, I've even, like Mandy and Suze from Dice Tower, they talk about how they'll go to stuff and people don't recognize them and know who they are. It's like, they host shows about board games.
Right?
They,
I love
like,
Mandy.
they
Mandy's
live.
amazing.
Mandy's the best.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's there. So how do we do a better job of being inclusive?
I think it's just a thing that will change over time. I think, mansplaining's a fun word for it, but it comes from our culture slowly changing. And okay, here's to get really, really into it. That is so much, this is way more political than board gamey, but I think the reason that women are getting more power now is because of birth control.
Okay.
Because for this last 50 years is the only time in history that women haven't been pregnant almost constantly.
Yeah.
When you're just popping out babies all the time, and then you have to raise those babies because some man just, gave you that baby, and we'll go into further detail on that.
Right.
We'll keep it PG-13.
That's a podcast for another time.
Yeah, but I think the freedom given to women through birth control has allowed women to assume more power.
Sure.
And because who wants to be abstinent? Am I right? And that's my personal theory of why the world is changing so much right now. And I think it's a great, 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 great thing. Because also, we got a little overpopulation in this world. So I don't think birth control is a bad thing. Yeah.
Occupy Mars.
Occupy Mars.
No.
But I think, so we're in this last 50 years, everything has changed in the way that men and women interact.
For sure.
And I think that's just going to continue to change as we realize, that us being slowed down by all those babies we had to have, that was kind of the only difference in we're capable of the same things. We're capable of the same complexity of thought. Obviously, it's so silly that I have to say that I'm even saying this to a modern audience, but
no, say it. It needs to be said.
Yeah, but so that's just gonna be less and less as we progress and change as culture and humans, except the world's probably ending in the next 20 years from climate change. So it's
yeah, well,
I guess we gotta try and fix it now.
We got board games and good books on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing, and that's why gaming is so important to distract us from
the inevitable end. Apocalypse now.
The apocalypse, yeah.
Okay, so that transitions and segues nicely into the next question I had is, because obviously you're very passionate about your political stances and your social, and I've actually seen on your Instagram where you'll throw some things out, and then I make the mistake of reading comments. So how do you balance that? How do you balance being a public figure, also knowing that your audience is of a very wide variety of beliefs? How do you, or do you not? You just say, damn the torpedoes and do the thing.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, damn the torpedoes. I don't care, because this is what I'm passionate about. If people want to shape the voice that I have and only let me talk about one thing, I don't need those fans,
Would you say, because there's a lot of people who are listening and watching.
And probably a lot of them turned them off when I started going on my rant about birth control.
Well, that's fine too. They'll come back later. And we'll win them over.
They
eventually.
deleted your podcast, man.
Yeah,
I'm so
fine.
sorry.
Hey, we're in the beginning. We're in the beginning here, so at least they found out early. It's one of those. I don't have no idea where I was going now.
Hey, I got more to say.
Just do it.
So, I often get the comments on Instagram or on Twitter, which I do read those comments.
I'm sorry.
Saying stick to board games.
Yeah.
And that's not who I am. I love gaming. I love tabletop, and I care deeply about how effed up the world is right now.
And that's a silly comment, right? Because those people in the same breath play board games. Obviously, that's why they follow you in most cases. But yet they have political stances and beliefs.
Right.
So you just stick to being a Costco worker, or stick to being a lawyer, or stick to being a doctor. Well, that's not how we work as humans. So I don't understand where those type, I remember what it was now. So the question was going to be, do you feel like if you were emerging as someone who wanted to be in media, in our industry, obviously it's hard to be very divisive in what you believe politically. Do you feel like you got to kind of hold that in to a certain point when you got enough audience where you can start sharing that, or do you just do it from the beginning and who follows you is who follows you?
I'm never going to change who I am or how much I want to talk about how decency matters. And to me, decency is believing that the government's job is to make everybody's life better. And I'm not going to apologize for that. And I'm not going to censor myself ever, because I think what people like about me is I don't censor myself.
Sure.
And some of those people like that when it's in relation to a game, but not so much when I get into anything else. But
right.
but also it's given the opportunity for what I think have been some cool threads, because if someone comments that's stupid because these reasons, I'm going to comment back, and I'm not going to say, well, screw you for having your beliefs that are the opposite of mine. I'm going to say, well, here's why I think this.
Yes, and I've seen you do those comments, and I've often said, well, she's really trying with this person. She's went 3 comments back and forth deep here, like really. And then you can kind of see when someone's not really actively listening, and then you just go, okay, well, cool.
And for those ones, if it's too mean out the gate, I don't reply, and I'll see other people reply from my perspective on the same side of the issue as I am, and I'll just let them go at it. But if someone comes at it with a real argument that makes me think, I don't want to just shut out any idea that isn't the same as my own.
Right.
I mean, I'm steadfast in my beliefs, but I'll still listen to people. For example, I saw a really cool pin when I was in Dallas that someone was wearing, like a pin on your shirt, and it moved, and it said punch Nazis, and it was a fist going into someone, like a Third Reich officer's face. And I thought, that's hilarious, and I made a little video of it, and I put it on my Instagram. And then the comments were like, there was a mix of, this is amazing, and this is bad.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to watch you post this kind of stuff, it's not why I follow you. And I forget why, but I thought about one of their comments, and I was like, you're right, this pin does incite violence, which is not something I want to condone.
Sure.
When at the same time,
Nazis
I
are
want
bad.
to punch a Nazi.
Sure.
But
sure.
I did concede that. I was like, no, you're right on these points. Totally agree. Also, went into detail about why Nazism is bad.
Sure. Do you feel like, and this is all weird, derailing, and I love it. So cut me off if you don't have time.
I got all day.
The spectrum, right? Do you feel like this is only even really this kind of conversation because the country is so currently, like the spectrum each side has been pushed. I'm visually, you're on the podcast, you can't see, the guys watching can.
It's like a parting of a Red Sea motion.
There's very little middle ground anymore. It's either this camp, and there's very team philosophy, right? My team has to win at all costs. No, my team, and like I feel I'm very moderate. I'm very kind of in the middle. And I don't necessarily, I'm obviously very progressive and liberal leaning, but I'm also growing up in Alabama, I have certain conservative kind of feelings. Like essentially if someone pinned me down and said, give me your political stance, I'd say, I want to do the most good with the least amount of resources. So I don't want to waste resources, but I absolutely want to provide for as many people as possible. I don't know that fits into either camp. So anyway, I guess I am rambling at this point, like where like the political atmosphere has just pushed these two camps so far apart to now that they're just turned on each other, and it's just so much vitriol. Vitriol.
Yeah.
Vitriol.
I completely agree, and there's been a lot of studies about the tribalness of it all, and how it's not even polling doesn't reflect voting, because people will be polled on individual issues and will realize 60% of the country or 70% thinks we all deserve healthcare as a right, but the voting doesn't reflect that because depending on what part of the country you're in or what your family is or whatever else, it's I'm team blue or I'm team red, and it doesn't matter on those issues, even if I feel different about different issues, because I just picked my team, and so I'll stick with my team. Yeah. And that's one issue, and there's been studies about that is how we evolved as humans to just have alliances in that way to survive, and that doesn't necessarily work with a country full of so many different people and so many different ideologies. But also the bubbles that we create online. You insulate yourself with, I'll just read New York Times all the time to get my perspective, because that's just fulfilling what I already believe. Sure.
I see this a lot, where there's certain people like, the Republican Party, blah, 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 they're all bad. They're all terrible. And I come from Alabama where, 98% of the people are Republican. And I know there's good people that are Republican. So I know that that's not accurate. I do know that, a lot of times, a lot of that, at least in the Deep South, is a single issue voter, it's all about pro-life, so they align themselves with a party that they feel like, even though no one's going to do anything about that previous. Anyway, we won't dive into that. But it's one of those things where I know, I understand why they feel that way, and especially with all of the recent events that have come out that would push us in that direction. But I know that there's good people that are Republicans. So I hate to see people go, oh, burn them all down, because that's just not
helpful.
It's not well, but then I'm also empathetic for why they feel that way, because it sure does feel that way sometimes. Like they're just, no one cares about what is currently happening especially with misogynistic and female.
Yeah.
Woo!
So many things. Well, on the one issue that it seems to be the most important, which is pro-lifeness, I think birth control is separate from being pro-life or pro-choice. Birth control is just, men don't have any consequence if they have sex, so women should have that option as well.
No, I
unless
read
you're
an
Catholic,
article.
and then I respect.
Sure.
But that's different. Christian doesn't mean can't take preventative measures.
Sure. Bebo posted an article last week that really gave, because I'm a dude. I don't have any perspective for these things, right? Like I've never lived the female life. I don't know what this is like. So I can't walk. I can only, anyway. So she posted this article and I read it, and it was just this lady just railing, and it was mostly very similar to the birth control, but she was saying, guys don't understand. You're forcing all this on. It's actually your responsibility. You're the one that gets everybody pregnant. And then she got into some deep detail, which it was really eye-opening, because sometimes maybe I'm looking in the mirror and go, oh, have I done that? Oh, at some point in my life I've probably done that. Oh, So anyway, it's not.
Was it the one that talked about a woman who was Mormon had written it as a Twitter thread? I thought, I'm gonna get gritty. I thought one specific detail that I remember from that was very interesting is pulling out 96% effective, 1% less enjoyable for the man. So
that whole section was hilarious, because she was like, okay, rate your orgasm.
Yeah.
On a 1 to 10. Okay, so normal is a 10. Cool. So pulling out is a 7. So you're saying that because you want 3 more points of enjoyment, we've got this whole big issue.
You have sex twice, that's 14 points.
Anyway, it was for me personally, it was eye-opening, and that's not something that I would have normally went out of my way to read, right?
Yeah.
And I follow people like Bebo. I follow people like you. I still follow some really weird, I won't say weird, more conservative, or even some weird people too, trying to get multiple points of like why people believe what they believe, right? Because I don't want to be in an echo chamber. But then also, it is very frustrating to read stuff that you don't align yourself with, and why people think the way that they do. And anyway, wow, this is really devolved into.
Well, this is now a political podcast from now on.
Well, we'll probably get a hell of a lot higher ratings than Boardgames, but so
they're all tied in,
I truly believe that. So one of my things is like, a lot of people in the group are women, and they are working their way into media. So what advice, because this applies from your perspective, what is some advice you can give women who are fighting their way through the muck and mire to be in this industry, in a voice in media?
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Oh yeah,
I think, this goes to women in any industry, and talking to friends who, it's that thing that Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, wrote this book called Lean In, and she talks about this, that women are less likely to ask for a raise, are less likely to demand things, because they think, I could be fired at any time. Why would I ask for a raise? What if they don't like me asking for a raise and they fire me? And doubt themselves more, and men don't have that kind of negative self-talk as much. Right. And I think as women, we just need to wake up every day and look in the mirror and say, I'm a badass. I'm going to go crush it today. And I do that. Yeah. I do that all the time. And it works. Positive self-talk works.
It
because
does, yeah.
if other people see that you doubt yourself, then they're going to doubt you. And if they see that you're fully confident, then they're going to like it. But also, not at the expense of putting other people down or making them feel bad. If you're belligerent in your self-confidence, then people don't like that either. Be someone people want to be around, because if you're auditioning for a role or creating your own media and trying to get fans, if they don't like you as a person, they're not going to listen to your point of view.
Right.
So,
right. Which ties back into your previous comment about like you should just be yourself, because then you're going to attract the fan base and the audience that it makes sense. You're not presenting something that you're not.
Yep.
But what you just said though is very double-edged sword, right? So be confident, but not too confident. You know,
don't be an asshole.
Be aggressive, but don't be too aggressive. Well, this is not something that men think about that much.
Right, because no man has ever been called bossy.
Right. You know, he's just leader.
Yeah.
He's just trailblazing.
Yeah. So there is a fine line, you know. Poor Hillary had to deal with this and regardless on your thoughts on her, she was a trailblazer for women.
Sure.
I mean, the first major nominee for...
I always reference Michelle Obama because, she is such a perfect example of someone who I don't think she's ever done anything mean in her life.
Right.
And people were just really shitty to her and went out of their way to be shitty to her. And she was just constantly just like, she just took it with grace and was like, nah, I'm not going to hear that. And I'm gonna water off a duck's back.
And she didn't even sign up for this.
No.
She used her platform to help children, to help, organize people that are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And just say beautiful things that were inspiring to all of us. So, Michelle Obama's a perfect example. But she did a great job of, women have to think about staying approachable, staying kind.
And it's funny because men don't. We don't think about that at all.
I mean, you are, though. You embody that.
Well, but I'm just saying, men as a
to.
class, we don't. It's just like I've seen. There was some articles talking about. It was just this week. It said, what if men had a 9 p.m. curfew? Women, what would you do with that time at the end of the day? And it was just like this flood of women saying,
skip naked through the streets.
Well, I would go for a walk. I would go to the bar and have a drink. I would and they're like, wait, you guys are scared to do that?
Absolutely. And unless you are with other people to protect yourself,
You're just the litany of men going, I didn't know. Like, we've never thought about this. What a jerk that I am. I've never even thought about this ever, because it's just not. It's not. There's not a right or wrong. It is just the way it is. But it does suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
No answers for that. This world's gray. It's not black and white.
It's a lot of gray.
There's a whole lot of gray.
Although I will say, I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx myself. I'm knocking on some wood. But I've always been a person that would go to a bar by myself at 10 p.m. and it's been okay for me so far.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that whole thread was really speaking to the introverts or the people who are like, they would never venture out.
Well, but I have been very lucky in my life. And if something happens, which happens to a lot of women, that shapes the way you see the world, then you're not going to put yourself in a position of vulnerability when you don't need to.
Right. Right. That's heavy stuff.
I'm just waiting for someone to come up to me so I can punch them in the face.
Yeah! No violence here. Hashtag non-violence.
I realize in principle it's bad. I support what MLK did with non-violence. But I'm a Stokely Carmichael. A Coakley Carmichael.
Coakley Killibuckley.
Yeah.
Words. All right. So this one. All right. So let's deep breath. The heavy stuff. I mean, we'll bring this back around, but 5 years from now, where do you want to be?
Right here.
Right
doing this podcast.
Here, right now. I forgot the rest of the words. You did too. You're humming. I love that song. Now I'm gonna listen to it this afternoon. So no, seriously, where do you hope to see Game the Game? Where do you want to see the other shows because you're a creative, right? I'm sure you've got tons of ideas, other things that you would love to see happen. Your acting career, your just the other affiliations, whatever.
This isn't a goal. I would like to run for governor, but California's got awesome people.
Okay.
In many offices.
I'm fresh here, so that's all new to me.
Yeah, so I think I'd have to move back to Missouri if I ever wanted to get into politics.
Okay.
And I'm not willing to do that. It is a pipe dream. I go to sleep wishing that I had gone into politics instead, but I feel like there's too many videos of me threatening to murder people. But then again, does that matter nowadays?
It doesn't seem to matter lately.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you know, we all have that version of you close your eyes and then you see yourself as 10 different people that all chose different things.
Yep.
But I love where I am right now. If I'm doing the exact same thing in 5 years, that would be incredible. As far as Game the Game, you know, it should be on network TV. Why not?
What?
Let's get some board games on TV. But more narrative aspects, you know.
Sure.
If we had all the money in the world to do the game, oh man, we would be playing on mountaintops. It would be what is that movie about the guy, the free climber, free 100% free fall, lost free, some combination of words like that.
I don't know if you guys know. You can say it.
It's already in my Fandango right now, but
Fandango.
yeah, I would want to play board games on mountaintops. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
No, but really, this is a totally. I want to find the better way to merge the two worlds of my career because I audition for TV shows and, you know, I do acting projects with, like, my filmmaker friends and drama stuff, even though in my life I like to live a comedy. So if I want to find a way to incorporate gaming into that side of myself, or just, you know, book a big show and then people follow me on Twitter and I'll talk about games all the time and then more people will play games.
That works too, right?
That's also connection.
Like seeing Joe, I can never say his last name.
I know the one.
You know,
yeah, Joe M.
Joe M. Thank you. On Colbert talking about D&D.
Hell yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I gotta watch that clip.
It's great, you know. And then he's talking about bringing over other celebrities, and they hang out in his house and play D&D. And
I love that.
They did a little. They also even did a little tour of his basement dungeon thing, his D&D room.
Oh my god.
And he was talking about how he had to like strong arm Sophia into letting him have that room because she was going to put like a Pilates dance studio in there or whatever. And he was like, I need this for the dungeon. I mean, Pilates, you can dance on the D&D table, I guess. I mean, there's probably a good D&D campaign in that somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
D&D yoga class. Now it's like you have to you've got an up dog underneath the orc. You've got, I don't know, pull and
downward orc.
There's something there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. There is that gym in Los Angeles.
Do you know Jack from Inside the Box? Because I feel like as soon as you started saying that you want to merge the two worlds, he's here in LA. He has a YouTube channel where he essentially builds skits around board games.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of these, yes.
Hilarious. And he's super talented.
People are doing great stuff with videos about tabletop content right now.
Yeah.
It's
exciting.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we could like pick his brain. Like how do we
Well, we would love to do that at Geek and Sundry, but there's a monetary threshold. You know, we've got the setup that we have and editors we have, and to do narrative content is expensive. Locations.
So maybe some of the viewers don't know this. I didn't know this until I came in for International Tabletop Day. That was my first exposure to Geek and Sundry. I didn't realize how many people it took to pull off what you guys do.
Yeah, we have
a lot.
A crew of 6 on set.
Yep.
But then there's like 3 editors that work on it as well. And it's a lot.
And then just all the people in the office running around doing all the office stuff.
Well, that's also Nerdist, but yeah, it's about half and half. There's so much constantly going on there. But it's amazing that we fit
on Tabletop Day. There was like what 14 or 15 people running different soundboards and setting up the next segment, and it was just like it was a slew of people. And I actually had to go into makeup. And they put makeup on my face.
It's awesome, right?
I was like, what is happening right now?
Did you feel pampered?
Actually, my eyes water really bad. I don't know why.
Just not used to it.
I guess.
I love it. It's like a massage.
She was laughing at me as she was doing it. She was like, it'll pass in a few minutes and I'll reapply under your eyes. That's ridiculous. I was like, well, we need like the like a drama like I've been crying spot, I'm in.
Well, the thing to step back from that and notice is that's a lot of jobs just about making content about geeky stuff. How awesome is that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they employ so many hosts and so many people behind the scenes, writers and technical directors and producers and makeup artists.
Yep.
wardrobe designers, cosplay designers, and it's so cool to be around so many lucky nerds like that.
Yeah, every time I come in, like I was in there this week, and I met 2 or 3 more people that I'm like, "What you're doing? What?" Brittany's like streaming Magic, and she was streaming. She got
Brittany Irving. Her Twitch channel is Lady Danger, Lady with 2 E's.
Satine
Phoenix
moving over to D&D community manager.
Incredible. Yeah,
she's awesome.
Doing so many things.
And then obviously Ivan
Van Norman.
Ivan Van Tabletop.
Yeah, he's my boy.
That boy.
Love that man.
Like he showed me his list of like to-do list things.
Oh god.
And it was just like, dude, you're still scrolling. He's just into everything. I just love
I don't know
seeing,
how he does as much as he does. It's very impressive.
You innovate or die. Isn't that the thing that they say? I don't know.
Gosh,
I don't
that's yeah. I guess so. I need to innovate.
All right, so let's wrap this big old 17-hour podcast interview up. It was supposed to be like 20 minutes. We're doing great.
It's not gonna. It was
As a
never
creative,
possibility.
probably I should know better. As a creative, what things inspire you? I know some people say I go for walks, I work out, I read other stuff. When do you feel like you get inspired and some of your best ideas float to the surface?
I have ideas. When I see a film that I really, really love, it just moves me. When I see something awesome, and I just think I want to make stuff like that. And I'm inspired all the time by games. It's my dream to make a game someday, but I'm not currently taking steps towards that. I'm letting everything simmer in my brain. But now I'm really realizing at the intersection of tabletop gaming and sex, there's a lack. That we were talking about, those things earlier, and I was like, wait a minute, Mistborn is a sexless book, but I can't think of a single game that. Well, there was this one about tentacles touching and like an alien giving consent.
Wait, you've got Come Together.
Oh,
you've got Karma Sutra. The balloon game. Have you seen that? Oh my god!
Gotta do my research.
Hilarious. The Kama Sutra. This was about 2 years at Gen Con. Bruno Faduti, and I probably said his name wrong. I always say it wrong. And somebody else designed it. Essentially, you take balloons. It's a party game, and you get different Karma Sutra positions, and you and your partner have to bust the balloon. And so he's laying in the floor with, I don't, it was Eric Lang or maybe it was Eric from BGG, and they're like humping on the floor in Gen Con trying to bust this balloon. It was hilarious.
Okay, so it exists in the party game format, and I'm sure there's lots of like men versus women trivia, kind of like those things they sell at Target. Strategy game.
Okay.
I'm coming up with this idea on the pod, so anybody listening could easily steal it.
You want to be a co-designer?
Yeah, that could be you. Hit me up.
Are you watching this? Well, Come Together is even, it's very interesting. So like, essentially you and your partner, you put out these different activities, and then you secretly blind bid on the one that you would be most interested in doing. And so then you both reveal at the same time, and you learn something about your partner. Because, obviously the 4 choices might not be anything that you really want to do, but out of the 4, you got to pick one. So which one's the most likely that you might be into? And so, it's one of those things.
Mr. Becca in a French maid costume. No? Is that an option?
Sure. It's one of those things that's like, I would have never thought to make a game in that vein, but then that's also very helpful to couples, especially if you've been hanging out a while. Maybe, you need a little spark, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually heard of people that being used for sex therapists are buying the game to use and give out to their clients.
That is so cool. See, the beauty of gaming. It can help in every aspect of your life. You asked about inspiration.
Yeah. And now we're talking about
inspired by every good game that I see. And I'm inspired by every good show that I see.
Sure.
And, I just saw the Lady Gaga movie A Star is Born last night. I haven't been to the theater in a while. It was brilliant. It was very good. Bradley Cooper's in it and directed it. And just seeing other people make amazing art makes me want to go make amazing art. Yeah. But
the struggle is real.
It's a very generic answer, but that's all I got for you. Seeing great stuff inspires me. And also, I think meditation is important, and for me, that's yoga. I love my yoga. Clears my head, so I have less road rage, don't yell at people as much, and can come from a place of calmness.
And don't hurt anybody when you lose on Game the Game.
Well, that's always a struggle, but yeah.
I've definitely felt that as a small business owner, I wasn't taking time there was no margin in my life. I was just working all the time. And when you burn the candle from both ends of the stick, it actually, your work suffers, everything suffers, your relationships suffer, but you feel like, man, I've got to really go hard here. I've got to make this happen. And if you don't carve out some time for self-meditation, whatever is your margin, like, that's important.
Yeah. All right. One more thing, one more tangent.
Yeah.
It is so important to get 8 hours sleep. You do not fully function, your brain does not fully function unless you get a full 8 hours sleep. And for some people that's really impossible, but getting as close as you can to it.
About 6.
No screens hour before bed, fully dark room, no caffeine after like 2 or 3 o'clock. These things contribute
all of those
to getting the full 8 hours so your brain fully functions throughout the day. And I am real serious about sleep. It's important because I forget what it is. Whatever chemical makes your brain sleep, you have less of it the more you age, and you have less of it the less you sleep. So it's a cycle that just perpetuates itself. There's a great TED Talk, can't remember the name. There's a great interview with a sleep scientist on Fresh Air with Terry Gross, one of my favorite NPR podcasts. She's based in Philly. And I've listened to it over and over because I need to remind myself that I will be a better person if I sleep. I am a different person when I get 8 hours, says Christian King. Yep.
Everything that you just listed off, I struggle with. Like, screens till bed. 6 hours is typically about what I get.
Okay, between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
Different people have a different ideal hours of sleep.
I
Less
feel
than
like
that, no bueno.
I've trained myself though for that.
Yeah.
And maybe I would benefit from more sleep, but I've actually said I'm going to bed early tonight, and I follow through, and then I'll wake up at that six and a half. Sometimes I can get 6.5. That's about it.
Oh man, yeah, it's hard. The struggle's real.
But also, I have kids, and so a lot of times I get a lot of work done, and I shouldn't be working late at night because there's that whole margin thing. But it's a lot easier. My manufacturer's in China, my graphic design team's in Australia. So when I'm getting ready to go to bed, they're waking up. So you're like, they start responding to emails, and you're like, well, if I wait until I go into the office, then they're asleep. So it's a whole 24-hour loop before they get any feedback.
Yeah.
So
well, some people function better first thing in the morning. Some people function better late at night. So that's okay. Then it just means you need to sleep in more. But if you have kids that need to go to school, you can't. So you're screwed, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But just remember, when you can, that sleep is real good for you.
I've gotten much better at like locking down Saturday and Sunday to being non-work time.
It's my favorite.
I haven't done that in a couple years, and since we've moved to LA, because the transition's been hard. You know, we've left all our family and friends. My wife's an introvert. She's like, I got no friends, and I'm like, I get to go see adults every day at the office. So she's like,
we gotta plan a game night.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where I was like, no, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to devote all of that to the family. And we're going to go do stuff together. And I'm feeling it. You know, you're like, okay, there it is. There's that.
That's the reset.
Margin. Yeah. Reset's good.
I try to do the same thing because my husband has a Monday through Friday job, 9 to 5-ish or more. 10 to 8, but yeah.
Well, with LA traffic, it is.
Yep, exactly. He rides his bike actually to avoid that LA traffic and get that LA smog right in your face.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's important to take time. Take time for you. Then again, people will be like, are you crazy when I say my weekend is playing board games but not on camera?
Right.
Because that is really just all I want to do.
Yeah, it's because it does give you that release, and that's one of the things I love about a good board game is like you're not worried about your deadlines. Your head's not into your to-do list. You are just in the moment, in the now, and hanging out with your peeps.
Maybe 2 turns ahead. Yeah.
Or in my case, just whatever's next.
Hanging out with your peeps, though. I stepped on you, but yeah, it totally. Yeah. That's a great reason to come together and stare at each other's faces.
And I think that's probably a good stamp on this letter. That means we could probably sit here and talk all day, but it's Friday, and we're about to go kick off this weekend thing that we were just talking about.
Heck yes.
I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, my kid gets out of school in like an hour and a half, and I'm like, Sandra, why don't you, I'm going to just go up the road to Game House since you're over here in the Glendale area. I might just have them come over there and meet me there, and we play games tonight.
Heck yes.
I love Game House.
brilliant. Game House, spelled Haus.
It's jammin'.
It's off of Brand, the intersection of Brand and Glendale in Los Angeles. And they have a $5 cover fee, and then you can sit there and play from their library of thousands of games.
1,600.
Okay,
That's a
over
lot of
1,000.
games.
Yeah.
No, that's a ton of games.
Yes. And all the people that work there are extremely knowledgeable about those games.
And the food's good.
It is great.
Coffee's good. Bakery's good.
Yeah. They make their own pies.
They got beer and wine. Yeah.
So I've been a bad patron, and I haven't been since they got their liquor license.
So yeah.
That's night and day, right?
It's fantastic. The only time it's a kind of a drag is if you go in there and it's like already packed and you have to get on the wait list and you're like, I was right here to play games, and now I have to wait to play games.
There should be a test of how serious of a gamer are you, and then you jump the wait list.
Right.
No, that's not fair.
We just bump somebody out of a table. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're playing Uno, so I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
Battleship, leave.
Battleship, you're out.
Oh, well, sunk your battleship. All right, peeps, that's it. We did as best we could.
Thank you so much for asking me questions.
Thanks so much for answering those questions.
You're welcome.
What is it from Anchorman? You can't put a question at the end of that. You know he's gonna do it.
We say that constantly on How to Play, because if you put it in the teleprompter, I will say it.
Yes, it's true. You go into like a robot. I'm gonna keep talking. All right. Later, people. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right. So I'm gonna turn the podcast off now.
I gotta pee.
Do it. Okay. I'm gonna. Hey, Daryl. What's up, buddy? Everybody go back some Dragon Boats. Christian, I love you, buddy. I'm going to see, is there anything? You know what? I'll do that later. Thanks for watching. And if you guys want to get like this again, it'll be on. We're going to be releasing a podcast that is just interviews. Since this was probably like an hour and a half, this might have to be its own special release. But yeah, podcast time. All right. You guys have a great weekend. Go play some games with your friends. Talk to you later. Peace.